The sun dipped below the horizon, casting the desert in a ghostly twilight. 4 figures trudged through the sands, the weight of their gear dragging them down. They had been planning this expedition for months, drawn by the promise of hidden treasures buried deep within an ancient cave. There was Marcus, the leader and mastermind behind their treasure hunting group. His sharp mind and unyielding determination kept the team going. Sophia, a skilled linguist and archaeologist, had spent countless nights deciphering cryptic maps and ancient scripts. Jackson, the muscle of the group, was a former soldier with a knack for survival. And finally, there was Amelia, the tech expert, whose gadgets and drones had mapped out the cave's intricate network. Just a bit further, Marcus urged, his voice barely audible over the howling wind. The entrance should be right over this dune. Sophia glanced at her map, squinting against the sandstorm. This better be worth it, Marcus. We've been out here for days. It will be, he replied, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Imagine the artifacts, the history we could uncover. Jackson rolled his eyes. Or the gold. Don't forget the gold. Amelia chuckled, adjusting her night vision goggles. Just hope there aren't any booby traps waiting for us. As they crested the dune, the entrance to the cave loomed before them, an ominous, gaping maw in the sandstone, shrouded in darkness. The temperature dropped several degrees, and an eerie silence settled over the group. Here we are, Marcus said, his voice tinged with awe. The Cave of Whispers. Sophia frowned. Why do they call it that? Guess we'll find out soon enough, Jackson said, shouldering his pack. They ventured inside, the light from their torches flickering against the walls. The cave was vast, with tunnels branching off in every direction. Ancient symbols adorned the walls, telling stories of forgotten civilizations and powerful deities. Sophia ran her fingers over the carvings. These are incredible. Some of these symbols date back thousands of years. Amelia set up her equipment, a small drone whirring to life and hovering ahead. Let's see what we're dealing with. The drone's camera feed displayed a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, some filled with glittering treasures, others with ominous shadows. Looks like we've hit the jackpot, Jackson said, his eyes gleaming with greed. Stay focused, Marcus warned. We stick to the plan. We map out the cave, document the artifacts, and get out safely. They delved deeper, their footsteps echoing in the silence. The air grew colder, and a sense of unease settled over them. The deeper they went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. It felt as if unseen eyes were watching their every move. Anyone else feel like we're being watched? Amelia whispered, her voice trembling. Just your imagination, Jackson said, though he didn't sound convinced. Suddenly, a low, rumbling voice echoed through the cave. Welcome, intruders. They froze, their hearts pounding in their chests. The voice seemed to come from all around them, resonating off the walls. Who said that? Marcus demanded, his flashlight beam darting around the cavern. I am the guardian of this place, the voice replied. You have trespassed on sacred ground. Sophia clutched her pendant. A nervous habit she had since childhood. We mean no harm. We're just explorers. Explorers or thieves, it makes no difference, the guardian said. You must prove your worth or face the consequences. A chill ran down their spines. What do you want from us? Jackson asked, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. A game, the guardian replied. A test of courage, intellect, and strength. Only then will you be allowed to leave. Before they could react, the ground beneath them shifted, and they were plunged into darkness. When they awoke, they found themselves in a vast chamber, illuminated by an otherworldly glow. The walls were lined with ancient artifacts and treasures, but they were overshadowed by the presence of a towering figure, a spectral guardian with eyes like burning coals. Welcome to my domain, the guardian said. The game begins now. The first challenge was a test of intellect. The walls of the chamber shifted, revealing a series of puzzles and riddles inscribed on the stone. Sophia's eyes widened in recognition. These are like the symbols we saw earlier. We need to solve them. Marcus nodded. Everyone spread out. Look for clues. Hours passed as they worked through the riddles, their minds racing against the ticking clock. With each correct answer, a path opened, leading them deeper into the cave. But with each mistake, the walls closed in, threatening to crush them. Sweat dripped down Jackson's face as he struggled with a particularly complex puzzle. Come on, think. What's the answer? Amelia crouched beside him, her fingers flying over her tablet. Try this. The past is the key to the future. Jackson entered the answer, and the wall slid open. Nice one, Amelia. But the relief was short-lived. The next chamber was a test of strength. Massive stone pillars rose from the ground, each adorned with deadly spikes. The only way forward was to navigate through them, a task that required both agility and power. Jackson took the lead, his muscles straining as he pushed and pulled the heavy stones into place, creating path for the others. Sophia followed, her lithe form darting between the pillars with surprising grace. Amelia used her tech skills to hack into ancient mechanisms, disabling traps along the way. Marcus brought up the rear, his mind focused on the end goal. Keep moving. We can't stop now. The final chamber awaited them, and it was here that the true horror began. The air was thick with a malevolent presence, and the walls seemed to pulse with a life of their own. The Guardian materialized before them, its form shifting and twisting in the dim light. "You have done well," it said, "but the final test is upon you." A large, ornate mirror stood at the center of the chamber. Its surface shimmered with an unnatural light, and as they approached, they saw their reflections twist and contort into grotesque shapes. "This mirror reveals your true selves," the Guardian said. "To pass, you must confront your darkest fears." One by one, they stepped before the mirror. Jackson saw himself consumed by greed, his body bloated and twisted into a monstrous form. He recoiled, the image burning into his mind. Amelia's reflection showed her alone in a void, her gadgets and technology useless. Her scream echoed through the chamber as she backed away, trembling. Sophia saw her reflection fade into dust, the weight of forgotten history crushing her spirit. Tears streamed down her face as she turned away, unable to face the truth. Marcus was the last. He saw himself standing alone, surrounded by the corpses of his friends. His ambition and obsession had led them to their doom. The realization hit him like a physical blow, and he sank to his knees. The Guardian watched, its eyes cold and unyielding. "You have faced your fears, but not all have conquered them. Only one of you may leave this place." The chamber erupted into chaos. Jackson lunged at Marcus, blaming him for their predicament. Amelia tried to reason with them, but panic had taken hold. Sophia stood frozen, her mind shattered by the visions. The Guardian's voice boomed, "Choose now, or none shall leave." Marcus, his face pale and haunted, stood slowly. "I'll stay. Let them go." The Guardian considered his words, then nodded. "So be it." A blinding light engulfed the chamber, and when it faded, Marcus was gone. The remaining three found themselves at the cave's entrance, the morning sun casting long shadows over the desert. They never spoke of what happened in the cave, the memory too painful to bear, but every night they were haunted by the Guardian's words and the sacrifice of their friend. As for Marcus, his fate remained a mystery, a tale whispered among treasure hunters and adventurers. A cautionary story of greed, fear, and the price of knowledge.